Hello and welcome to episode number 13 of Talking to Unicorns. Today, I am talking to Maddy, who is one of our Unicorn Factory freelancers who has been dominating, to say the least. Maddy, welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing really good. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to have you here. Well, can you just start off by telling everyone who you are, what you do, all that fun stuff?
So I'm Maddy. I'm a Shopify web designer on Unicorn Factory. I do web design for small businesses in New Zealand and across the country. And that's kind of the short intro for me. I'm
Cool.
a tiny house owner, a mum, and a partner.
Wow. Well, where do we even start with that? I love talking about tiny houses. But, okay, let's start off with, can you give us like a little bit of a rundown of like how long you've been freelancing for, like how it all started, where you are now with your freelancing?
I think accidentally I've been freelancing for almost a year now. Kind of officially since the middle of COVID, when I was in my full-time job and in the thick of COVID and being at home, and the idea of going out of lockdown was just not for me. I just wanted to stay locked up. And then I realized that I could make web design my full-time gig.
Cool. So you just told me before this call that this is officially your second day freelancing full time.
Yes, yes. I had a
How's that
really
been?
long,
I,
so amazing. Like I had 8 weeks to finish up at my last job, and
Mhm.
the countdown was just so exciting, and I just couldn't wait. Coming home in the evenings, putting the baby to bed, and jumping on calls with clients or working on websites in the evening, and now I get to do it during the day.
That's amazing. So can you tell me when the moment was where you knew that, okay, I want to finish up at my current job and I want to commit to doing it full time?
I think, yeah, just in COVID and having a little bit more free time, a little bit more flexibility, kind of just threw me back to my maternity leave. And I just thought, oh, I just want that time with my daughter again. I want time on my terms. I don't want to have to work from X till X every day. It was a really fast-paced career that I was in. It was really hardworking. The people there are incredible, and I just thought, yeah, it's just not for me though. I just can't keep up.
Yeah, fair enough. So you're a web designer and a Shopify developer. How did you get into that?
Shopify was kind of a bit of an accident with my first client. I've always been into web design, and kind of designed a few websites of my own for different ventures. And then I had this lady come to me with some retail stores and say, "Oh, I need the Shopify store. Can you please build me one?" And I thought,
Hmm.
yeah, absolutely, like of course.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of Googling. But Shopify is just an amazing platform. And I just really took to it. And in the thick of all the forums and and the liquid code and working out what the hell it meant, I just really formed a love for it.
Amazing. That's kind of how everyone starts, eh? Like you say yes to your first client, and then you're on the hook, and then you suddenly find ways to find answers to all these problems. So,
Yeah.
so how many, if you had to take a guess, how many Shopify sites have you worked on so far?
I would say over 10 now. I think I've forgotten. I've just lost track now.
Ah, amazing. Well, one reason why I wanted to talk to you, and I think one thing that's going to be very exciting for the Unicorn Factory community as a whole, is we have this feature on our Slack channel that whenever someone closes a deal or lands a client, that a little notification with gifts show up in the Slack channel. And I think every time it happens now, everyone in our community expects it to be you. Because for a few weeks it was just you just closing client after closing client after closing client. So for all of us wanting to get a bit more work, what is your secret to getting those leads and turning them into customers?
Oh, I think you're going to be so disappointed because I would like to know my trick too.
So
Um,
how does the process work? So when a lead gets in touch with you, what are the kind of things that you do, or what's your approach?
Look, I think it all comes back to my past self.
Mhm.
I've taken like a really funny little way of getting here, and I've got a diploma in sport and recreation. I've got half a degree in podiatry. I've got a marketing degree. I winged my way into a couple of jobs, and I think all it came down to was just good communication and just chatting to people like they're humans, and just
Yeah.
being excited about their business and their venture, and like putting yourself into their shoes.
Nice. That's a really good way to think about it. I feel like that has worked for me as well. As soon as you put yourself in their shoes, it's like a lot easier to navigate around what they want. And once you agree with what they want, it's usually pretty straightforward from there, isn't it?
Yeah,
Um,
and like small businesses here in New Zealand, everyone's so innovative, and so you put yourself in their shoes, and you think about what they're on the edge of, about to jump into, and you think, oh wow, I get to come along with, like, on this journey with you.
yeah. And so how have you found just working for yourself one-on-one with clients, especially if you're working with a lot of clients at the same time, which I assume are doing, given how much work is coming through. How are you finding it? Are you finding working with a lot of different people fun, stressful, exciting? How's that all been?
Um, it's kind of second nature to me, I guess. Like, it definitely requires some organization and just taking a step back and kind of like planning things out. But my past jobs as being a buyer, I mean, you're dealing with suppliers and customers and things all the time. It's all go, go, go.
Hmm.
So it actually just feels really nice to work with people one on one, and not have to go through five people to get to the one you want.
Exciting. And so how many clients are you working with at any given time?
I think I think over COVID and leading up to um, the end of my job, it might have been up to 10. And I think
Whoa! I can barely keep two at the same time.
I think at the moment it might be that it might be that now. Yeah, it might, or maybe 7.
Okay. And do you feel like, just based on the clients that you work with, do you feel like COVID and the fact that you work in the e-commerce space was like a big reason why you ended up getting as much work for creating Shopify stores?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I don't have the experience of working as a full-time freelancer before COVID hit, so I can't kind of compare. But I think that people's attitudes at the moment are a lot more willing to kind of invest some money and invest some time into some experts to put
Hmm.
them on the right path. I think COVID really hit a lot of people, and they thought, oh crap, I've got to have a really solid plan if this is going to work, and we're going to go back into lockdown again. So yeah,
Hmm.
people are definitely willing to listen to an expert.
So just based on like the conversations that you've had with people, what do you think their mindsets were before COVID became a thing? Were they like completely indifferent about digital, or yeah, where were
Yeah,
they at?
I just think they didn't know what to do. They didn't know where to start. They just had no clue about it. And a lot of clients I have, they tell me, "Oh, I've been working on this idea for the last 5, 6, 7 years, and I'm just getting around to kind of digital now." And so it's definitely not been something they've thought about.
Yeah. And so do you find it quite easy then coming into working with a business and kind of just leading it as well? Just, you have the ideas, but they have the ideas, but they don't even know really the start. So that's, I suppose, where you come in. Do you enjoy that part of just coming in and being like, this is how we're going to make this happen?
Yes, I love that part. I'm like a web designer slash like business development manager. I'm like, let me tell you what you need to do.
So do you know
I
what I
love
love? Yeah. So you know what's funny about that? That's what I think is like one of the secret advantages of working with freelancers is obviously you work with web designers and stuff like that, but because they all run their own businesses, they're really business savvy as well. You don't always get that when you work with agencies and you work with the employees inside of those agencies. So
No, no. And coming from a product buying background, anybody in e-commerce who's selling a product, I immediately understand. I'm like, okay, cool. So this is what you're doing with your imports. This is your distribution. And there's just so much more than just web that I can kind of pass along to them.
awesome. And is that something that is that something that you talk to them about before working with them as like a selling point, or is that just something that eventually comes up?
I do let them know, like, my background is in product, so this, I can offer you this as well. Not always, but definitely sometimes, particularly if it's something I'm really excited about.
That is so fantastic. So what is the next step? So I think one thing that I want to know about is you've pretty much gone from doing it on the side while having a full-time job, now transitioning into full-time. This is your second day of freelancing full-time. Without holding you to it, do you have any ideas or plans of something that you'd like to do in terms of, would you like to freelance for the next 5 years, or would you like to build up an agency? What's your plan?
I don't know. I've kind of been winging it up till now, so I probably need to think about a bit of a plan. Um, I think I would love to have, not so much as like a structured agency, but definitely some freelance network that I can call upon to take on some bigger jobs, because I do like a bit of business development and like coaching and that kind of thing. And I want to steer people, but my technical skills might be lacking in other areas like graphic design and all of those other things that kind of come into it.
Amazing. Well, if you're ever looking for freelancers, we have a website that you can use any
Oh
day of the
yeah,
week.
I know one.
So, just from your experiences since you've started freelancing, what are some of the like key things that you've learned, or the key things that you've found that you didn't expect to come across?
I think I think actually the people. I think the Unicorn Factory community has just been amazing. When I jumped onto Google during that one day during COVID and kind of was looking for somewhere to find some work, and I thought, I just have no idea where to start. And I stumbled upon Unicorn Factory and thought, oh yeah, I'll give it a go. I don't think I ever expected the community and the network that has been created. Like, it's just been amazing. And then on the client side, I don't think I ever expected to be so excited about somebody else's product or idea or things like that. So I think just the whole thing has just been so cool.
Awesome. And so do you have, say, for example, someone's working in a full-time job now and they are considering potentially freelancing. Do you have any tips or tricks or any inspirational words for them that will motivate them to make that jump?
I think just do it. Just put your resignation in and like, during your notice period, figure out what the hell you're going to do.
So, oh yeah. On that note, I have a question about that. Did you decide to hand in your notice or quit your job knowing that you had clients lined up for the future? Or were you just like, I just need to commit to it and things will fall into place?
So I signed up midway through COVID and found a client almost straight away, which was amazing. And so I knew I had the single client going on, and I thought, oh, look, I've done it once, surely I can do it again, and I'll just make it work. And then with my partner, we sat down and thought, if I didn't have any income coming in, could we still make it work? So it was kind of like we've got a bit of a plan, we can make things work, and then I can go out and find some clients if I need to. And if that happens after I finish my job or before I finish my job, it's fine.
Awesome. Oh, that's so exciting. And so have you found anything particularly difficult about since you've started freelancing?
I think the managing of the workload is probably the biggest ongoing juggle.
Mm-hmm.
It's like keeping in touch with clients and making sure communication is really high and that you're getting back to them really quickly, and that you're getting their work done really fast. I think that's something that I value in somebody who does work for me. So that's what I want to give to them.
Yeah.
So I think just that probably. It's always an ongoing thing.
Awesome. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just so stoked that we got a chance to chat because you're like the prime example of what I'm trying to do with the Unicorn Factory.
I know.
So say for example, there is actually one more thing that I want to talk to you about.
Oh yeah.
And that is, one thing that I always ask people, or I recommend people doing is like niching down. And the one person who has done that incredibly well is you. Now, can you talk a bit about, like, was it a conscious decision to position yourself as a Shopify person?
I think it was. I knew my target market really clearly. I sat down and I wrote myself a bit of a plan, and I wrote out a bit of a booklet that I thought, oh, I might send this to potential clients. And so I knew I had to get really clear on what I wanted to offer them, exactly what services, and exactly who I wanted to send it to. So I think I went in, and when I made my profile, I kind of already knew that's where I was going. And so Shopify specifically, and then small business specifically. And I just couldn't agree with you more. Like, it really does make a difference, and it absolutely does not limit you to do anything else. I've had so many other opportunities come up by niching down.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you said that, because especially on the Unicorn Factory, you can always see the exact people that get a lot of the work, and those are the people who are Shopify developers, Webflow developers. Then you've got people who are like logo designers, like something that is a niche within graphic design. And the interesting thing about it is that pricing is a lot easier as well, because you can kind of look at, hey, what's my niche? What's like the going rates? And it's something to like benchmark your work off,
That's exactly what I did. I went out and did a lot of Googling, and I found out what other people were charging, and then I just modified it to myself. And I think people can be really scared of niching down, like you say, and they're going to miss out on work, or they're only going to be able to do the such and such. But honestly, just even if you try it for like a month, just update your profile and give it a go and see what happens, and then change it back if you want to.
100%. I'm so glad that you've said all of that, because I think it's one thing with me constantly saying it, but you're like the perfect example of someone who just like did it, and it's worked out so well. And I feel like a lot of other people like went down that path, and just like you said, it doesn't limit you, and B, you can change it whenever you want. You will do very well. Well, Maddy, can you please tell us how we can find out more about how to get in touch with you if I need a Shopify site?
If you need a Shopify site, you can go to Unicorn Factory, or you can go to croftcreative.com, or you can find my Instagram, Maddy Croft.
Amazing. Well, Maddy, I am so grateful that you took the time to have a chat with me. And yeah, that was episode number 13 of Talking to Unicorns. This was episode 2 from Canada. I'm going to keep them going every week. It's still great fun. And yeah, please like this video and subscribe on Spotify and wherever else podcasts are. And I will see you next time for episode 14 of Talking to Unicorns. Bye.